before we touch on the game specifically for this weekend, and I'll go first, but I want us to give. It could be a coach, it could be a player, it could be a coach-player combo, but y'all's top three player or coaches with the most to lose this weekend in the divisional round. So we'll start with our third on the list and we'll move all the way up to one. But third for me is Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan because they could not have drawn a more perfect turnout from Wild Card Weekend. All year, it was the top three teams in the NFC: San Francisco, Philly, Dallas. Obviously, Philly had their problems as the season ended, but it was still like, hey, they could get it together for the playoffs. Dallas was looking really good. They get the 2 seed. They won't have to see, San Francisco till the NFC Championship if they make it that far. Both those teams dropped out. 7th seed matchup with the feisty Green Bay team, but they're young. I know that was an emotional win they just had in Dallas, so a lot of times you see those teams kind of regress. But you have Brock Purdy on a rookie contract. Next year, it's going to be a couple contracts, dude. You're going to lose a couple players probably because you can't pay everybody. But you might lose Brandon Ayuk. Possibly, I mean, if I'm Brock Purdy's agent, and I know it might be considered selfish for Brock Purdy, but I'm not about to play quarterback for you anymore on 600-700K salary in San Francisco if I'm him. So I'm wanting an extension right now for all I've done. But it's literally now or never for Kyle Shanahan. Like I said, top 2 other contenders we believe out of the picture. You got this perfect Super Bowl window. You're healthy. You've had what is considered to be either the best or second best team all year. For those who think the Ravens are the best, you got to make it to the Super Bowl at the very least, and you really got to win it. You might not see another opportunity this good. And then if they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, San Francisco is going to be in the same boat with Philly and Dallas, where it's like, do we need to make some tough moves within this organization? Because we've had this Super Bowl window and it only stays open for so long and we've constantly missed. So now how can we kind of reopen up that window? Because it's shutting on them, whether, San Francisco fans want to realize that or not. So I think they got to be number 3 for me. And I'll pass it on to Erik next on who he thinks the third player or coach is with the most to lose this weekend.
I think it's Lamar Jackson. 1-3 in the playoffs. Last time he was the MVP. I think he deserves MVP. I think he should be the MVP this year. They had the first round bye. They lost to Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. There's everyone saying Lamar can't throw the ball outside. He has yet to prove it in a big game that he can do it. If they lose to the Texans, I think Lamar is going to lose a lot after he gets that. I mean, props to him. He bet on himself, was his own agent, got a huge contract, rightfully so. Great season MVP. But if he goes out there and loses to CJ Stroud and the Texans, I think he's got some stuff that he's going to lose.
Oh, yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough. Cam, how you feeling? Cam Sanders, how you feeling? What's your third?
I mean, he put it on like right there. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, period. Them at 3. Like he said, I mean, you coming in the season, he bet on himself, signed a 5-year, $230 million, 185 guaranteed. I mean, you got it. I mean, this time, this is your chance to win, man. I mean, look, the Ravens bet all on you. They gave you all the money. It's time to break that stigma that you can't pass in the postseason. You only won 1 game right now in the postseason. So I mean, it's time to I know he's elite and stuff like that in the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's just it hasn't been there yet. So if he loses in the division round, man, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, playoffs is where you make your money. That's what they paid you for. So gotta prove it for sure. Chris, what about you? Number 3 on the list.
I'm going with Brock. I'm not going to do Brock and Shanahan because I think Shanahan probably get a. I think if he loses, the consequences would probably be greater than Brock's. But I got Brock at 3, and mostly because we've heard the rhetoric already, and I've been person that contributed to it as well. But he's just a product of that system. And if they don't win, then and he moves off, like no telling what's that gonna do. What's that gonna do to his career, right? Where else is he gonna get placed at? Because I don't know. Can we say the 49ers are gonna extend him? Do they know? Like I know we've been saying it, and the 49ers fans they've been defending him. Like no, he's actually a good quarterback. But does the 49ers staff and coordinators actually know if Brock is what's the word? Can he produce without the team that they have? Because we've seen the stats and we've seen people talk about where if it's not all four of them, that team is done. If it ain't Kittle, if it ain't Debo, if it ain't Christian and Brock, Christian and Brock, they're all together playing that game. They're not a good team. We've seen it happen. We saw it happen early in the season. So I got Brock at 3 for that reason.
Kim Swan.
So we're covering all the wildcard games, right? Including like the Buffalo and Kansas City as well.
Yeah.
Or just I'm gonna say Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. The reason why I'm gonna say that one is we've seen the frustration with Stephon Diggs, throughout the season, them barely squeaking into the playoffs and things like that. This is like probably the best opportunity for them to make or break because you have home field advantage right now against Kansas City, and this is y'all first road game, playoff game ever. This shows you like what Allen can do. This shows you what McDermott can do. If somehow they lose this game, all hell gonna break loose because that's about 6 or 7 years in a row that you failed to go past the AFC Championship. It's 6, 7 years in a row that you don't lost to Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think the worst one, obviously, was when the overtime loss, obviously, which established the whole overtime rule. And Josh Allen, I think he's like 0-6 right now in overtime all time. So a lot of odds are against him right now. Obviously, like I said, Diggs is frustrated. The defense is getting older. Jordan Poyer is getting older. Michael Hyde is getting older. Von Miller have his off the field issues. Everybody's like having their own thing going on. Gabe Davis can't stay healthy. Your running game is, so it's all right. The AFC as a whole really didn't have like great producing running backs this year compared to NFC. So you have no disrespect to James Cook, but you have running backs like him making Pro Bowl because of the lack of talent and the lack of consistency in the AFC running back wise. So I'm gonna say consistency instead of talent. With that being said, they have a lot to lose because if they lose this game, not only do you lose Diggs, but you're gonna probably lose your defense because you have a lot of pending free agents coming up as well, especially with age. They had to fight just to keep Jordan Poyer because he was real close to going to Miami. So I feel like they have to lose because, like I said, that's a consistent thing on kind of like how they're looking at Cowboys. You have a team where you're arguably top 5 in defense. You have one, I guess, by media, one of the best QBs. You can't get far. You can't not get past the AFC Championship, and you have not touched Super Bowl, and you have one of the best talents. And Diggs is already 30. He's gonna want to win the championship. His window's starting to close, and so they have to lose because this game right here will make or break the Bills.
That's fair. On to number 2. My number 2 was Cam and Eric's number 3, I believe, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, man, it's now or never. You're about to get your second MVP. Not only will the media narratives just go completely crazy if he does lose this, but you got to think of it in the context of if he's able to pull off this magical run, win the Super Bowl, he's first ballot Hall of Fame solidified right there. Because I would assume if they win the Super Bowl, he will more than likely get Super Bowl MVP. So that's 2 MVPs, a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champ, all on his resume. Youngest to ever do that because he'll now beat out Mahomes. He's about to beat out Mahomes for the youngest player ever to have 2 MVPs. So, and then it's a real argument, like I've been saying, he's solidified the second best quarterback, if nothing else, in the whole NFL. And he's only 1 Super Bowl away from Patrick Mahomes. So it becomes that real argument because I know it's been Joe Burrow the last couple of years. People, a lot of media wants Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson has a chance to quiet all that. On the other flip side, his opponent across the field, you now have CJ Stroud, which I know it's his rookie year, so we'll have to wait, technically for him to repeat, his success next year. But I think all of us can tell from our eye test, CJ Stroud is a baller, so we don't see him going anywhere. If he beats you in your house the year you win MVP and you have the number 1 seed, now there's going to be real conversations about CJ Stroud being a top quarterback in the AFC, top quarterback in the league, and he's probably gonna jump you in a lot of those lists, despite you having 2 MVPs. And then, like you said, this is what they pay you for the games in January. The reason, we don't believe in paying Dak because you can't win games in January. Lamar's got his money now, and he hasn't produced in January, but if those with common sense will, also highlight he didn't have the best wide receiver core, didn't have a lot of weapons, but that's no longer an excuse. You go out, get Todd Monk in the OC, change the offense. You draft Zay Flowers. You pick up Odell Beckham, who's been better as the season has come along. Rashad Bateman, another first-round pick from a couple years ago. Mark Andrews is back. I know he's returning from injury, so I don't know exactly what to expect from him, but you have that. You have Gus Edwards. You have the running game. Everything is in motion for you to finally, make that playoff run, or at least, advance to an AFC championship game. So for me, that's got to be number 2 on the list, and he's got to get it done. And if he doesn't, I hate it for Lamar because I'm a Lamar fan. I've been on record saying if my Chiefs can't win it, I want the Ravens to win it all just so he can shut everybody up. But if he doesn't shut everybody up, it's going to get real ugly on social media and all these sports shows, and I'd hate to see all of the wild takes we'll be getting from, concerning Lamar. So that's my number 2. And we could just, go back in that same order. So, Erik, who you got at number 2?
My number 2 is Kyle Shanahan. We have the 2017 28-3 choke job in the Super Bowl. Last year, 13-4. You lose to the Eagles in the championship game. Yes, I know Brock Purdy got hurt, but you have to kind of have a capable backup quarterback when you construct your roster. And if Johnson wasn't it, there were plenty of options where you could have gotten somebody. Nick Mullins wasn't doing anything. We've seen Nick Mullins have success in the NFL. This year, 12-5. They're in the same boat as the Ravens. Driver's seat, 1 seed, completely wide open, all the pressure in the world on them. Matchups against teams that won games, they were underdogs, not expected to win. I think that with what we've seen with Shanahan is when he doesn't know how to be a front runner. Anytime he gets ahead, gets really conservative, doesn't close out these games. And when you play a team like the Packers, Jordan Love, since week 11, has been off the charts. It opens the door for the back door. The middle of the pack, stopping the run, 16 DVOA. Aaron Jones, 4 games in a row, over 100 yards rushing. If you can't stop Aaron Jones, Jordan Love's able to pick apart that secondary, and they lose this game. Now you got Trent Williams, you got CMC, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, all those guys contract situations. Trent Williams getting up there in age, offensive line underperforming. You made all these moves. You added who they had? They added Gregory from the Broncos, who was released. Chase Young. If they don't win this year, I think that's going to be a big hit on Shanahan's legacy, him not being able to win the big one, get to the Super Bowl, and win it all.
Yeah. And Packers got nothing to lose. Like, they're just playing with house money right now. Jordan Love, oh my God. Whew, he's going to be slinging that rock. I know that. And that San Francisco run defense is pretty bad. Aaron Jones, if Aaron Jones can visualize the San Francisco defense as Dallas,
oh yeah, he's gonna go stupid. He made it 300.
But Kev, who's your number 2 pick for most to lose?
Man, me and E got the same list. me and E got the same list. And nah, man, it's 49ers have to be at 2 here. 49ers and Shanahan, like E was saying, pretty much. If Shanahan don't get done this time, man, if you lose in the division round against a team when they had Aaron Rodgers, he was beaten pretty comfortably every single time. Don't come up here and losing Jordan Love and think it's gonna be sweet or stuff like that. Because Green Bay, I mean, they serious too. They're gonna be a serious threat. But yeah, if they lose this, like you were saying, you get Trent Williams. He ain't getting any younger. He getting older. Then you're probably gonna use Brandon. You're probably gonna lose Brandon Ayuk. You're gonna lose Chase Young more than likely. You got more guys on the defensive side that you probably going to lose. Fred Warner not getting any younger also. They got all these bunch of guys that they're still on contract that they still have to sign or whatnot. And like he was saying, if Shanahan if he can't win at least one anytime soon, when they need to win like now, that's gonna take a hit on his on his legacy or whatnot. So I got Niners and Shanahan at 2.
Fair. What about you, Chris?
It's crazy. I'm pretty sure we all got the same people in different positions, but no, I got Josh Allen at 2, and it's really for all the reasons that Cam said. I mean, and he put in the. I think you said the coach as well, but I think for Josh Allen, unfortunately, if he loses this game, he will forever be like second to Patrick Mahomes, if not even second, but just like never better than Patrick Mahomes. And I think this is a lot for his legacy. In regards to his career, though, I guess I'm thinking about all this in regards to the player's future career. I I mean, he's gonna be all right. I think he's with Buffalo for like the next like 4 years. I think like he's with Buffalo for a while, so he's gonna be all right. But in regards to his legacy and being a actual winning quarterback, coming through in the clutch, being a game changing quarterback, I think those narratives will probably stop. Right. Like I think when people talk about game changing quarterbacks, they bring up his name, they bring up Lamar, they bring up Pat. Um, I think that'll probably stop, and somebody else is gonna take that throne. Maybe C.J. Stroud.
That's fair. What about you, Swan?
I'm gonna say Lamar, number 2. The reason why I'm gonna say him is obviously he's 1-3 in the playoffs. I don't know what it is about the AFC, but it's like that's like his poison because he's 20-1 against the NFC. Obviously, the one thing that comes to the fact is he was his own, like Erik said, he was his own agent, got the hefty contract, 250 mil contract. Cool. What can you do with that contract? Because you can't, like you said, you can't use the same skills that you don't have talent, but you have like Odell, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman healthy, Mark Andrews coming back. Isaiah likely is arguably the best backup tight end in the league. But the only thing that concerns me with that is that he has all the talent, like offensively, and a new offensive coordinator, and no receiver or running back has still hit 1,000 yards. When he had Greg Roman as his offensive coordinator, Marquise Brown still hit 1,000 yards. So it's kind of showing like, you got a better roster, but your numbers went down. What is that? You know what I'm saying? So with this, it also looks bad because like obviously he's finna win second MVP. We all know that. You're losing to CJ, who has nothing to lose because, like you said, the Texans weren't supposed to be here. They weren't supposed to upset the Browns, but here we are. A lot of people didn't project them to win the division and make the playoffs, but here they are. So they have nothing to lose because they still have a lot of cap space. They can sign a pending star free agent or two that can rebuild the defense. They have nothing to lose. So like they're not afraid to win or lose. If they win, it makes your legacy look bad because you're all in right now. The Ravens have a ton of pending free agents, especially on the defense with Patrick Queen and other stars. So if they don't win it all now and they all leave because they want the bag, it's like a reset. And the one thing we learned about this league is every time you have a great coordinator and they have a great year, like how he having, or like how Ben Johnson having with Detroit, or how Nasher, what Shane had with the Eagles, they always find a way to get a head coaching job. And that shows that every single team that had that always regressed somehow, some way. The Eagles regressed with Shane leaving and Jonathan Gannon leaving, both going to Arizona and Indiana, to where Jalen Hurts had an okay year. It showed with Pat Mahomes, like the offense act like they couldn't catch the ball with Eric Bieniemy going to Washington. Every team somehow get affected by that. So if the Ravens don't go all in and go to the chip or even win the chip, and let's say the offensive coordinator get a head coaching job, because it's about 10 plus teams that needs a head coach, and he somehow get hired by somebody, it's going to affect him. He's going to go back to square one all over again when he had Greg Roman, if not worse. But he got to go back searching again because no coordinator that's really good always stays. He has to stay within the personnel to see what quarterback coach, running back coach, whatever can promote. But a lot of teams going to look at the fact that, like I said before, no receiver or running back hit 1,000 yards, and they're the number one team. So it shows that they're talented, but it also shows that who can be consistent. You have more talent you did back in 2018, 2019.
That's fair. Fair. Well, Leads us number 1. It's on me. Man, y'all already know who I got. I got the Al Qaeda champion and the media's favorite quarterback in the league, Sean McDermott, Josh Allen. Man, let me tell you, if they let us win this football game, I'm gonna start with my favorite fact that I've been saying for the last year and a half now. In NFL history, when you have a quarterback coach combo, if they don't win that Super Bowl within 5 years of being together, they never do. This is Sean McDermott and Josh Allen's 5th year together. They fired their offensive coordinator earlier this season. Joe Brady has stepped in. They've looked much better. If they don't win now, I mean, unless Brandon Bean pulls a Jerry Jones, like, no, we believe in McDermott. McDermott's going because Josh Allen is the guy. They paid him. That's their franchise quarterback. He's not going anywhere, obviously. So McDermott, his job is gone. They started off really bad this season. They were 6-6, had a 5% chance to make the playoffs. Kudos to them. They went on a 6-game winning streak up to this point to win the AFC East, lock up the 2 seed. You now have the Chiefs, who have been your Achilles heel in the playoffs, in Buffalo, which is their whole kind of goal they've had since losing to us the first time in the playoffs. Like, if we can get this game in Buffalo, we feel like we can win it. Well, now you got that. It's not COVID, because the only other time we played in Buffalo was the COVID year, so there weren't any fans in the stadium. You got a full stadium, supposed to be, a ruckus crowd, hard environment for the Chiefs. You got to take advantage of that. Stephon Diggs possibly gone if they blow this, because he's not happy, even though he says he is. But if shit hits the fan this week, he's probably gonna win out. Aging defense, like you said, Poyer, Von Miller, terrible contracts. Josh Allen's contract is about to start kicking in. If you don't have Stephon Diggs, like I was just saying, when the 1 year we seen Josh Allen without Stephon Diggs, he was pretty bad. We haven't seen Josh Allen without Stephon Diggs in a wide receiver 1. That I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but we already know he's a turnover machine. So there's that. Josh Allen, I mean, not only is it Patrick Mahomes who, for whatever reason, since that overtime loss with 13 seconds, everybody in the media just decided, oh, he outplayed Mahomes by a mile, as if Mahomes didn't have better stats in every category and win the game versus what was a top 2 defense in Buffalo. But that's neither here nor there. But you have Mahomes. Like we said, you have Lamar, who's about to win his second MVP if he puts something together. You have CJ Stroud, up and coming. And in this year where the Chiefs, this is a down year because we haven't looked our best. Burrow is out. Burrow's 2-0 versus him. Burrow is going to be back next year. If you can't win it this year, in the most perfect scenario where you have the Chiefs on a down year, don't have to worry about the Bengals. Lamar, he's got his playoff struggles. CJ Stroud, up and coming rookie. When else are you going to win it? And then at that point, the quarterback conversation, you might not even deserve to be top 3 technically in the AFC, whereas the media is just automatically want to put him at number 1. And they've already started the BS this week, like, oh, Josh Allen, he wins this, he's the best quarterback in the league. If he wins this, props, he beat Mahomes, you got to go get the Super Bowl for real now. Because if you don't end it with a Super Bowl, what are we doing? What are we playing for? Like, that's what the top quarterback should go and do. They've said he's the hottest quarterback in the last 6 weeks, as if he wasn't responsible for 4 out of the 6 losses they have because of his turnovers, which he leads the league again in for the 5th year in a row. So Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, it's literally now or never for this Super Bowl window, this current roster of the Bills. If not, you have to hit a semi-quasi rebuild because something's got to change. You've tried long enough and you constantly haven't got over that hump if you don't win this game. And it's going to be the end of the Bills as we know them now if they lose this game. And then from there, who knows where Josh Allen's career goes. There's no denying he's got top 5 talent, but the talent hasn't proven itself in these big moments. He can very well end up our generation's Phillip Rivers. All the stats in the world, nothing to show for it as far as winning goes. So it's a lot on the line. It's all the pressure, Buffalo. So, my guy Patrick Mahomes ready to come in and do. He hears all the talk. He hears all the talk for sure. But that's my number 1 for most to lose this weekend in the divisional round. Erik, who is your number 1?
I have the same exact guy. I got Josh Allen. draw is breaking his way. They're going in one of the hottest teams in the league. You get Kansas City at home. And I think the key thing that Bryce mentioned is how loaded the AFC is. CJ Stroud, we always see these quarterbacks make a jump from year 1 to year 2. So he's going to be better. Also, Joe Burrow coming back. You got to figure Bengals are going to be in the mix. If Harbaugh or a coach who actually knows what he's doing goes to Los Angeles, Herbert is going to get the Chargers there. The AFC is ridiculously loaded. And Josh Allen, if he doesn't get it done this year, he is going to be Dan Marino, Phillip Rivers, these quarterbacks that just put up insane stats that never win anything at all. I think it's Josh Allen. I think if he doesn't win it this year, he's not going to win it at all. Defense is an absolute mess with all those contracts. You could be losing Diggs and Gabe Davis is a free agent too. So the reality is you could actually be losing both of them. I think this is the year. If Buffalo's going to win it, I think this has to be the year. I think if they lose it against Kansas City, Josh Allen's going to be losing the most because his window is going to be officially shut.
Cam, what's the number one for you?
Same thing as y'all. I mean, but it's Josh Allen and McDermott. I mean, they've been here before. Versus your Chiefs, whatever. They come out here and lose the same exact way in a sad, just sad way. Like you said, like the Bills, as we know, is over. I mean, I just can't see McDermott staying there. I think he'll probably be going. Josh Allen, like y'all said, he probably gonna lose Gabe Davis, and I'm pretty sure Stephon Diggs, he probably gonna want out for sure and go somewhere else because he's not really happy. On the defense side, you still got older guys over there that's not they always injured. The safety's always injured. Von Miller, he's not getting any younger at all. So I mean, the window is literally right now for them to win. They literally have to win it like this year. They don't win this year, just blow it up. I mean, I can't see it. I can't see them going, staying together any too longer. So yeah, I got those guys, man.
Chris, what about you? Who's number one?
Before I say my number one, bro, like I do got a question. Like, has it ever been? Do y'all remember a time where I missed out? Has it ever been like this cutthroat for multiple teams or players at the same time? Like this is pretty intense.
The closest we got was Tom, Peyton, and Ben, but I mean, Tom won the majority of those. Peyton got his 2. Ben got his 2. And Phillip Rivers, I guess, would have been the 4th one out, and he got nothing. But at this point, I know obviously they're all still young in their careers. Mahomes is the only one with anything right now, and Lamar's got the MVPs. Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Tua, they've got nothing besides just talk from fans. Like you could say they can do this and that, but they haven't done it. Burrow obviously has more bragging rights than the others because he made it to the Super Bowl. He beat Patrick Mahomes in this spot before, but then he lost the Super Bowl, and he doesn't have MVPs. And his contract, he just got a new one. Their team is going to start shifting because their window is kind of slipping because they got to pay people like Jamar. Probably going to lose T. They let go of Jesse Bates this year. Their defense took a major hit. So CJ Stroud, up-and-coming rookie. DeMeco Ryans, the rookie head coach. They're probably not going anywhere for at least the next 3-4 year window for them, and they're going to probably hammer free agency this offseason. We haven't seen the Colts with Anthony Richardson, who I think could be really good with Shane Steichen, as you see how Jalen Hurts is faced. So it's literally cutthroat, but only one person can win the Super Bowl. And not all of these quarterbacks are going to finish with a Super Bowl because that's just the way it is. That's the nature of the game. And that's why obviously I'm a Chiefs fan, of course, but that's why I always kind of speak on like this whole thing where people think like, oh, this stuff is easy to make a conference championship 5 years in a row, possibly 6 if we win this weekend. Think the Patriots made it 8 years in their dynasty. That's not normal. In this game of football, injuries, you see how injury to Burrow derailed Cincinnati's whole year. It could be 1 year like that. Window could be completely gone. Josh Allen, if he doesn't get it this year, Diggs possibly gone. Window, like Erik said, completely gone because you're not going to get this team back. And you've now gotten paid. It's rare that a quarterback that's paid all this money ever wins the championship. That's why it's the whole kind of 5-year window with the same coach, rookie deal, quarterback to get the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to lose out, and that's where it gets all interesting. And this is literally Hall of Fame stuff on the line for everybody. So
Yeah.
I love it. It's the best time
Well,
of the year for football for sure.
for your last point is exactly why I got Lamar at number one. I mean, to me personally, I think he came into the season with like everybody had a lot of expectation for him. But I don't think it was expectation given in the grace of like we really want him to succeed. I think it was more so like I want to see him fail trying to get this right. I think since Lamar's gotten in the league, round one, pick 32, I think he's been the definition of working twice as hard to get half as far. And if he does not take this team to win the Super Bowl, all the rhetoric we've heard, all the videos we've seen come back up, it's just gonna start back up, right? His style does not work. He can't produce in the playoffs, and I'm a Lamar fan too. So, and I think opinions and criticism like that they last way longer than somebody saying, "Oh, you're not a Super Bowl champ." I think it goes beyond that. So I got Lamar number one, just for that reason, legacy alone.
That's fair. That's fair. Like I said, I mean, if it can't be my Chiefs, I'm rooting for Lamar. But if they lose, it's gonna get real
It's gonna get
ugly.
really nasty. It's gonna get really
It's
nasty.
gonna be a whole lot of he's not very quarterbacky enough
Quarterbacky.
to go win these games. Kev, finish this off with your number one person or coach that has the most to lose this weekend.
I'm gonna say Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers. Um, it's been so many years where they like one win away, one injury away, one player away from making the Super Bowl. Ever since they lost to the Chiefs back in 2019, they just have not been the same. Obviously, of course, they add in so many talent. You know, you trading, bringing in McCaffrey, bringing in Trent Williams, excuse me, letting go Jimmy G, starting Brock Purdy. You bring in so much talent. You trading for Chase Young. You bringing in Randy Gregory. You have all the talent. What can you do with it? They're literally the super team, the Golden State of the NFL right now. They have all the talent in the world,
Oh,
like how the Warriors, like literally, bro. They have everybody. They have literally everybody on paper, like how the Warriors did when they had KD and Boogie. But what happened with the Warriors? Boogie got hurt, KD got hurt, and what happened? They lost to Toronto. So with that being said, they're literally one injury away from messing up like last year.
mm-hmm.
This is really a make or break year for them, and it's crazy because both teams are based out of San Francisco. So what a coincidence! But the thing that really killed me is that, like you said, Trent Williams is not getting any younger. Brandon Ayuk is due for a contract. He's literally Pro Bowl snub, possibly you could say second team All Pro snub. He had over 1,400 yards and didn't even get that mention. It's a lot of talent on that team, but you don't get paid so many. McCaffrey's on a hefty contract. That's gonna be coming up. Trent Williams is getting older, but he's still battling his health issues off the field and his contract and his age. Brock Purdy gonna eventually want his money. He gonna be tired of living with somebody. He gonna be like, "Hey man, I want my own crib, bro." Everybody else, Debo got his own crib. McCaffrey over here buying me Christmas gifts for all the office linemen. I can't even do that myself. Like, man, I want to do that. I want to do that for me. I want to buy everybody golf clubs. Why McCaffrey gotta buy it? It's stuff like that is gonna make him jealous, and he eventually gonna win his money because making $600K in San Fran ain't gonna cut it. Like that's half your check right there. How I know? Because I got family members who live in San Fran. They say it's a lot of money. So he's gonna eventually gonna win his millions, and his agent gonna find a way to get that. And so then you can't be able for you traded away some draft picks with Chase Young. He's probably gonna walk because you can't pay him. He's gonna want his money. Randy Gregory gonna want playing time and his money. You have a lot of players, and if you look in that backfield, the only person in that backfield who's really like doing much really is your Davis Ward, and eventually he gonna want to get like a bigger bag. Cause he's the only one back there. Cause I mean, you let go Jimmy Ward and everybody else, and so like you stuck with him, and like you have your safety. He was out for the season. Tafonka, he was out. So it's kind of like, what can you do? Um, Obviously, like a great point was definitely the quarterback there. I know they got Sam Darnold and back there, but I don't even know who's the third string quarterback over there for them. To be honest, if you had to ask me, because I mean they let go of Trey Lance, they didn't trust the process with him, let him go. Let Jimmy G go to Las Vegas. So it's more so of like, who else is going to, if God forbid, I'm not going to, if Purdy has a freak injury like that again and got rely on Darnold, he get hurt. Who else can be quarterback? You can't run the same Wildcat offense again. That's not going to work because everybody watched the film when they played Philly. They watched it, so they know like what to do, what to expect. And the thing with San Fran is, I don't have nothing against them, but they are such a systematic team. If one injury happens, the team blows up. We literally witnessed them go on a three game skid when Debo was hurt and when Trent Williams got hurt for 2 of them games. So it shows you like their offense revolves around the same 4 or 5 people. It revolves around Brock Purdy, of course. It revolves around McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. That's 5 right there. So with that being said, if either one of the players are hurt, the offense is done. Because if you take away them, nobody can throw the ball to Jennings. I'm just being honest. Nobody's worried about Jennings. So you have so much and stake right there, and that's gonna hurt Shanahan's legacy because every year you're literally one play away, one grasp away from making the Super Bowl, and they have not been since 2019. They had plenty of opportunity, they have not made it, and this is also gonna prove Cam Newton's his point on the whole game management status because right now he's winning on all his points. He said right there because he showed what he said about Dak and kind of showed right there when they play against the Packers. So the thing with Purdy is a lot of teams gonna look at him. Put it like this: if you're giving a hefty contract to Purdy, extend to him, giving him a contract extension, and I'm not none against him, but he's very successful because of the talent around him. A lot of sub-tier or below sub-tier quarterbacks are gonna want more money, and they haven't done anything. You're gonna have quarterbacks like Zach Wilson and everybody else who are gonna want their money, and they have not done anything. But they're gonna look at Brock Purdy, who was the last pick of the draft in the 7th round, and he's getting more money because of the talent surrounding him. They're gonna want that money. Like, okay, well, I'm throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson. Where my bag at? It ain't my fault we ain't winning. And like the offensive line is 12 on that team is not getting any younger as well. Take away Trent Williams and everybody else who is no longer going to block. So this is a win. It's like win now or nothing because if they don't win now, you have teams in NFC who gonna have that calling card because they start like losing everybody else. You're gonna have teams like Philly come back up because they can figure it out with the personnel. You got Detroit still in the mix. Dallas, if they figure it out, they're gonna be in the mix. You have a lot of teams in NFC who can get together
Green Bay
can
is
make a
here
run
to
for their
stay,
money.
I think.
You see, you have a lot of teams like that who can come in the mix. So in the NFC wise. So with that being said, they have to win now because right now they're the kings of the NFC, obviously. But it's a lot of teams. Like I said, we got Dallas, you got Philly, you got Detroit, all these teams in NFC. And on top of that, if they let the Packers, who has nothing to lose, they're the youngest team in the league besides Houston. If they come in there and just cause havoc, it's gonna really look bad for Shanahan because they like you said, they have the perfect path to the Super Bowl. Philly got bounced, Dallas got upset. You have the perfect path. You're going against a inexperienced Packers team who wasn't even supposed to make it. They were literally tanking until they just got together after they beat after the Thanksgiving game. They got together and then they made the playoffs because New Orleans and Atlanta lost. So if you somehow get like an upset, that's going to shift a lot of changes in the NFC with Chase Young and everybody else losing. And you got Kittle getting older. Kittle's in his 30s now. A lot of people, and he want a bigger role too in the offense.
And his
He
play
might mess around.
style it's not built to last a long.
He don't. Yeah, it's not. It's supposed to, like you said, 5 years, and it's been longer than that. Like I said, the last Super Bowl matchup was around 2019. We're going on year 5 or 6 right now. We're in 2024. Something got to change. So if they don't get that kid, like he's gonna be close to 30 soon. Kittle's already 30. He want a bigger role. He don't want to just block forever. He had a career year this year, but last year he wasn't doing much. So I feel like this is the biggest thing for them. If they don't win this year, I'm not even talking about making Super Bowl. They have to actually win a lot, and then a lot of people gonna review Nick Bosa's contract too. It's gonna kick in. It's gonna be hefty.
That's fair. Well, let's get into these games this weekend. Cam, it's your time. First game up. Houston versus Baltimore. Y'all are 9.5, 10-point dogs. I've seen it moving in between there, which is kind of disrespectful, I think. But at the same time, Baltimore, number 1 defense, number 1 seed, but they are coming off 3 weeks of rest. Now, last week, we have it on record. You had this as the AFC title matchup, and you're like, no, we won't win this one. But after the playoff game this weekend and thinking it over this week, I already know how you're feeling. So we're about to go through every game in the divisional, but we're gonna start off with this one, Texas Ravens. Cam, tell us how your Texans are going to win this game and pull the upset of the season.
You know, after week 1 or whatever, this just came out. CJ was saying how he was kind of down on himself after that week 1 game because he's not really used to losing like that. And JG Jonathan Grenard, he came up to him and said, keep his head up. We're gonna see these guys again. And we're gonna see these guys, we here right now. These guys right here. They ain't nothing to mess with. I think we finna go into the bank. I think we finna whoop their ass. That's how I think. I think
that's how you feel.
I think we finna go.
You're not supposed to be here, bro.
We're not supposed to.
You finna run in their trap and take over the trap.
We finna take over their trap. CJ been saying, everybody's saying we're playing house money. We're not playing house money. We're supposed to be here. That's how you feel.
Oh
that's how you feel. If that's how you feel. If that's how you feel, shit. And my quarterback, he said that's how you feel. It's how you feel. I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna do it though. On defense side. On defense, I'm gonna give you the score at the end also. But at defense side, it's all about containing Lamar. If we keep them into the in the second downs, if we keep them to second and long, stuff like that, and get them to third and longs, I think we're gonna have a chance. But it's all about containing Lamar, keeping him inside the pocket, sending all type of looks at him on third downs, blitzes and stuff like that, zone blitzes. I think the Mika gonna be ready for him this around this time or whatever. So as long as we keep him in the pocket and don't let him improvise, because he's really good at improvising outside the pocket. Say if it's like a 3rd and 4, if it's nothing open, if he gets outside that pocket, he's going to get that first down. So if we keep him inside that pocket, also stop the slow down the run game. I feel like we got linebackers that are quick. Blake Cashman, he's a fast linebacker. Christian Harris is another fast linebacker, and also Denzel Perryman. All 3 of those guys, if they stop the run game, clog up the run game, I think we'll have a chance on defense side. Now on offense side, this is what I predict that the Ravens defense is going to do. I think it's going to be the same exact thing that we're going to be doing, but I think they're going to be doing more of, they're going to try to blitz him a lot. They're going to try to blitz CJ a lot. Same thing. Give him all types of different looks. I think it's going to be a lot of more man blitzes this time around. Now, big thing, they will not have Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey will be out this game. So that's a really major thing. But they still got Kyle Hamilton, in the backfield, or in the back, or whatever. But we've seen it with the Browns. And honestly, after that week 1 game, after that Jets game, after that game, really, if you try to blitz CJ, he's going to kill you. And I think that's what they're gonna do. And honestly, I think this is gonna be the game where CJ is officially gonna be like a household name. He's gonna come out, and I'm predicting he's gonna have like a 300 4 TD game, no interceptions. I think something like that. And like I said, we're gonna whoop that ass. It's gonna be 34-17. Whoop that ass.
Sheesh.
Whoop that ass.
Hey, I'm happy for you, bro. I'm happy for you.
Whoop that ass.
You almost got me believing in that. Okay, well, I like it. I like the confidence. Me personally, I would be rooting for that because if we win, welcome to the Arrowhead Invitational for the 6th year in a row. But I don't think it's necessarily Lamar's time to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, as y'all know, my agenda from last week. But I think this will be a very hard game. I think the 10 points is that's disrespectful. I think y'all are gonna definitely cover that, and it's gonna be a close game. But I think Lamar finally figures it out. But I will not be surprised if CJ throws all over that defense, and then the pressure turns up, and the Ravens fold, and lo and behold, we got the Texans. Not supposed to be here, division champs, not supposed to win the wild card, not supposed to win this game, and they're in the AFC Championship, and it's very dangerous for either my Chiefs or the Bills. So I got the Ravens, but I Texans are the dark horse pick this year. They might make a Cinderella run to the Super Bowl. I could see it. So that's what I got. Chris, who you think wins this game? Ravens or Texans?
I want the Texans to win. I really don't want to choose. I really don't want to choose. I mean, on paper, we know the Ravens should win this game. But like I told Cam though, when we was watching that Browns game, I said I like the way because y'all started the first half of both teams was kind of slow, but the offense was running. Some okay, cool. The offense is good, but let's be fair. The Ravens defense is probably going to be a little bit more tougher considering how we know the Browns perform when they're on the road. Their defense does. So I wanted to see how y'all's defense would shift to play against when y'all were playing the Browns, right? Could y'all stop the Browns? If y'all can stop the Browns, you're not stopping the Ravens. And sure enough, in that second half, y'all turned up and y'all stopped the Browns from scoring. And then on the other side, y'all scored even more points. So I do think there's great potential for y'all to make this game really close and very well win it. But like I said, like it's hard to believe, right? It's hard to believe, but that's the whole point of sports, right? You root even if nobody believes in it. So I want the Texans to win. On paper, I mean, you should take the Ravens, but I think it's probably safer, like Bryce said, maybe want to hammer that spread because 10 is a lot.
Yeah. Hey, this is the same way we was feeling last week, Cam. So you should feel good. We said it'd be a close
Yeah.
game, but y'all lose, and you over here. No, we gonna win.
Trust
So
me, I
And
feel great. I feel
all the
great.
projections before the Cleveland game, all them like if they chose the Texans, they only have the Texans winning by 3 points. But two people chose the Browns, and they had the Browns blowing the Texans out.
that's fair.
So
Cam, Ravens, Texas. Did Cam convince you right there, or
I ain't gonna lie. He convinced me, bro. I'm
he a
not gonna lie.
pastor.
I got bro, it's because, bro, like the Texans have nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to be here, but they here and they belong here. And on top of that, just like, bro, they're a young team. Like they're the second youngest team in the league, and they have a bright future. And like I said, Lamar is 1-3 against the AFC, so it's kind of like the pressure gonna be on him. You know, a 2 week rest.
3 weeks?
That's a lot.
Really?
3 weeks. You know, that's a lot. You know, and
Yeah,
the
it
Texans
is.
are hot. They end the season hot, and they came in hot. So it's kind of like, you know, they come in like we can't take over your trap. So it's kind of, I don't know. I might have to roll with the Texans on this one, bro. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
may not even bet on that game. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just gonna
I'm
watch
not
it.
betting on it, bro.
Well,
But
well,
I'm definitely going. If I'm looking at the props for CJ's touchdowns, I'm going with that over on that for sure.
well. Guess who is
Yeah.
betting on the game? Our guest Eric. He's got the
Oh
Texans
yeah.
plus 9.5. That was his first pick. So I'll
Okay.
share
Okay.
that with y'all
Okay.
now. But do you
Okay.
believe the Texans can win this game, or do you still think the Ravens take it, Eric?
I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think the Texans are really live in the spot. A couple things. Number one, you mentioned the Humphreys injury. That is big because you look at Darby and Stevens, our other two DBs, in the mid 40s per PFF. For Ravens, it's still a rushing attack. Texans are 2 DVOA stopping the run. Have been able to stop the run every game this year, except for the game against the Colts, where Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss were able to get to going. If they can stop the run, force Lamar to make some throws, I can't trust Lamar to make the throws because we haven't seen him do it before. You guys mentioned CJ Stroud. You look at the team games he's played where he's played a team that was top 10 DVOA defending the pass. Ravens, 28 for 44, 242, no INTs. Steelers, 16 for 30, 306, 2 TDs, no INTs. 2 games against the Jags, 1 game, 20 for 30, 280, 2 TDs. Another game, 26 for 36, 304, 2 TDs. He did struggle in the game against the Jets where it was 10 or 23, 91 yards. But that was a game in New York where it was freezing rain. It was just brutal outside. And then the game last week against the Browns, 16 for 21, 274, 3 TDs, no INTs. Let's throw the Jets games out, say it was weather-related. So games against top 10 passing defenses, 106 for 161, 281 yards per game, 4 TDs, no INTs. CJ Stroud, he's
God damn.
the Matrix. He's the Matrix. You know what I mean? He was the first quarterback making his first playoff start, beating the best defense in the league, the number 1 rated defense with which the Browns were. I think CJ is going to be able to keep it in the game. And hypothetically, I believe in scoreboard pressure. Fourth quarter, 21-24. Is Lamar and Harbaugh going to be able to handle that scoreboard pressure? We see the Ravens all year, second half, kind of play with their food a little bit. I'm thinking of the game against the Browns where they blew that double-digit lead. I could see with this explosive offense that happening. Mark Andrews hasn't played since November 16th, and now he's going to go out there and play. I really think that is a mistake in my eyes, just because he hasn't been playing. You're rushing him back. How is that going to interrupt the flow of the offense? Also, Clowney's banged up. Double O is banged up. Those guys are two elite linebackers that have been doing a great job getting to the quarterback. I think the Texans are live here. I have some bad friends. I'll save for a little bit later, but yeah, I like the Texans in the spot.
Yeah, and you just said Mark Andrews. I seen a clip. It was from last week of him in practice, just moving around. He didn't look good, so I don't know what could possibly change. Because he literally looked. What tweet did I see? They said he was running routes like Spencer James off All American. They said that's what he looked like. That's how ginger he was moving on that ankle. So I'm like, I don't know how much could change in 5 days, with the therapy and all that with the trainers. But I agree, rushing him back is kind of crazy because they have been playing without him and they've been playing well. So yeah, Texans alive in this. Cam, you made me a believer. Like I said, my Lamar hope for him just because the media critiques and all that. I want him to win, but the Texans, dark horse, I think they can do it. They just might do it. So I'm rooting for y'all. Next up on the schedule, Saturday night game, Green Bay, San Francisco. I think San Francisco wins this one. But like I said last week, this LaFleur Packers team right now, they're heavy time of possession, control the game, control the clock, move methodically down the field, run the ball well with Aaron Jones. Next thing you know, play action, Jordan Love is ripping the defense apart. Let the Packers open up the game. If they get the ball first, drive down the field, take 7-8 minutes off the clock, score a touchdown, put some pressure on 49ers early, hang around, make it a game. If the 49ers are trailing in the fourth, we know what that record is with Shanahan. They don't win games. So that's the recipe right there, and they have the team to do it. But like we've said, San Francisco is a super team. They had to be excited watching Wild Card Weekend last week. Cowboys, Eagles drop. It's got to be now or never. I think they can win this game. Plus, while I think there is that route for the Packers to win, that was just such an emotional game, the way they beat the Cowboys down. I think it's hard to respond back this week in San Francisco, a tough environment, playing a super team that's healthy as of right now, and be able to pull off another big upset. Especially, this is the first time the 7th seed has ever beaten a 2 seed since they've had this format. Obviously, it's only been 3 years now. But I don't think they're going to now go beat the number 1 seed as well on top of that in back-to-back weeks. But if they do, great story, great for football, but I don't see it happening this week. Erik, how are you feeling about this one, San Francisco or Green Bay?
I think the Packers are going to be able to keep it close, but I do think the 49ers win the game. You look at Jordan Love since week 11, number 2 EPA per play, number 3 in a success rate, number 3 in third down percentage. I think Matt LaFleur is one of the better coaches in the league, and he really doesn't get enough credit for what he's able to do, what he's able to scheme and put together. This is the first team since 2010 that made the NFL playoffs with no Pro Bowlers. You look at the other teams that didn't make it with any Pro Bowlers, the Commanders, the Panthers, and the Patriots. LaFleur is doing a heck of a job. The weakness of the 49ers defense is they do struggle against the rush. Aaron Jones, 4 straight games over 100 yards, averaging 119 yards, and that's going to open up the passing game to go against these San Francisco DBs, who I fully don't trust. I think Jalen Reed's going to be in line for a good game, but I just think at the end of the day, this is going to be a Jake Moody 37-yard field goal to win it 27-24, something like that.
Fair. Cam Sanders, what about you? Packers able to keep the magic going, or San Francisco pull away a win with this one?
Call me crazy, man. Call me crazy. I think it's going to be a close one. I think Packers going to get this one versus 49ers.
It's going to be insane because, like you said, they had Aaron Rodgers' number. You lose the Jordan Love-led Packers, oh, my God.
And that's the thing. When Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, when they were together, Matt LaFleur wanted to run his offense, but Aaron Rodgers, you know how he is. He's bumping heads with him, stuff like that. He don't want to run that offense. And I feel like that kind of got in the way, when they would play the 49ers or not. But Jordan Love, he trusts Matt LaFleur. You can tell he's really into his offense now. I seen some stat. I forgot what week it's been, but he's like 20 touchdowns, 1 interception since whatever.
I think it's week 11.
Week 11.
Week 11, 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. So call me crazy, man. This game gonna be on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy gonna have to make some passes. He gonna have to make some passes. I think Jair gonna be he should be on either Brandon Ayuk or Debo. They might use Debo in some other ways, but I think he gonna be on Brandon Ayuk or not. So yeah, man, I got the Packers in upset on this one.
Shit, I might have to throw the Packers and Texans and just throw $10
And a
on
little
it.
parlay, yeah, for real though.
Great odds.
I mean, that's plus 1,800 worth a shot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I may
Chris,
do that tonight.
So Packers 49ers. Chris, are you 49ers? Or are you now a Packers believer too?
No, I was a Packers believer when I was watching the Cowboys game. I was like, bro, because here's my thing. I also believe so one of the main drivers for the Texans beating the Ravens in my head as well is the fact that they ain't played. And the same thing goes for the 49ers. Like, it's great to get a bye week, bro. But both of those teams, and I'm really gonna focus on the Packers, but both of those teams played an opponent that they were not supposed to win against by by analytics or whatever, right? And they went out there and they blew them out. And they're young. There's nothing more exhilarating than being the underdog and then whooping the team or the person that you was not supposed to beat. The 49ers better be ready. They can run their game plan, they can plan all they want, but the Packers ain't gonna come out soft. They finna come out like they finna throw the ball, they finna run it hard. They have nothing to lose. It's really not hard for me to want to choose the Packers just because of that reason, right? Their legs are going, the blood is pumping, the adrenaline is there. They know what victory feels like already in the playoffs. Like, I'll probably, I think the spread for that is like 9 or 9.5 as well.
Yeah, I think it's the same. Around the same.
I want to choose the Packers. I want to choose the Packers.
That's 9.5 as well. Yeah.
I want to choose the Packers in fashion. I want to choose the Packers winning by like 20.
Oh,
because the way I see it, all the Packers got to do is play defense, bro. All they got to do is play defense. The offense is there. The offense that they need to beat the Niners, they're good at it already. Jordan Love can pass the ball. It's the defense. And that was one of the pivotal things that they were saying about the Cowboys game. If the defense comes to play, they're winning this game. And that's exactly what the defense did. Albeit they played Dak Prescott, who's prone for interception in the playoffs. But now they get a young Brock Purdy, right? I think it's very possible. Did I convince y'all?
I don't know, but I know more on what you were saying. I was watching your episode yesterday, Eric, and I know you're a big proponent of give Matt LaFleur a lot more credit. He's one of the best coaches in this game. He doesn't like Shanahan very much, with some of their interactions we've seen over the past couple of years. This is going to be a statement game, I think, for LaFleur to kind of be like, hey, everybody always says Shanahan this, the system that. He comes in, beats him in his house with Jordan Love, 7th seed. It's a lot of bragging rights. And like you said, Shanahan's legacy is kind of ruined. LaFleur's legacy is boosted up. So it's a lot on the line. Cam Swan, how you feeling about this one?
Man.
It make you want to go first, huh? You get to hearing these opinions. You make you want to go first.
Nah, I ain't gonna change my opinion. I'm gonna go with the Packers, bro. I'm with the Packers, but the reason why is I don't know. The only thing that's gonna hurt the Packers in this one is the O-line, offensive line, obviously. Like, if they can find a way to keep the same consistency they had like against Dallas, as far as like blocking the rush and everything, which them and like Dallas and San Fran are literally equal when it comes to rush. So I feel like they can do that and find a way to keep Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw away from the coverage. They can win this game. That's my only concern, obviously, because we don't know how Fred Warner is gonna come out because obviously he's a zone ball hawking linebacker. Obviously he can cover and he can defend. But I feel like they can do this one. McVay and LaFleur are the only coaches out of the Shanahan tree who can really come for Shanahan's number. Like they're the only two really who really like stand that come after him. So I feel like this is gonna be like another one. He faced another person under his tree that can come and just try to coach him. Florida's a great coach. He's a great coach, like without a doubt. I think this right here shows it because they are another young team, like we said, the Texans, that has nothing to lose and they weren't supposed to be here, but here they are. And by number, I don't trust the 49ers secondary whatsoever. Outside of Ward, and even sometimes with him, I don't trust nobody on the secondary. I can't even name them if you're gonna be honest. The front line, they cannot stop the run for whatever reason. It's almost like you're overpaying your front line. They can't stop the run. Aaron Jones probably gonna have a field day, and I don't want to be the factor to where like he had the Cowboys high, and then the high comes down when he faces the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, okay, that's a Texas team who passed up on me on the draft. Let me go crazy on them. But now it's the 49ers like, oh, I already did what I gotta do. No, I want him to continue that energy because if so, like I said, it's gonna be bad on Shanahan's legacy because not only that, this is your pretty much like your last opportunity to make the Super Bowl, but you lost your assistant, lost to somebody who's under you back in Washington. So it's kind of like that's kind of like a 2-for-1. That's going back to when McVay had beat him when he was with the Rams, and then they won Super Bowl that year. So it's kind of the same exact thing, losing to your assistants. And I think Shanahan has one of the, if not one subpar records against his assistants. So this is gonna be like another factor right there. And like you said, whenever they're losing in the fourth quarter, they have a losing record right there. So let them be down by 3 in the fourth quarter. All you gotta do is run the ball and play defense. The key factor for this game, in the defense wise, we gotta see what Jair Alexander gonna do because he kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit in that game, but he should be good to go. And we should see what Darnell Savage gonna do. They probably gonna put Jair on Ayuk. They probably put Darnell Savage, probably put him on Depot because he's gonna be doing a lot of jet sweeps. And Darnell is fast enough to catch up to one of the jet sweeps. So with that being said, that's when you can bring in everybody else. You bring like Quay Walker and everybody else to make sure they don't see McCaffrey getting free, breaking loose. They can do all three of that. They got this game. I think they can win at least by 7.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, well that wraps up the Saturday slate of games. Move on to Sunday. Gonna pass it off to Eric because the first game up is his Lions at home
Ooh.
versus Tampa Bay.
I look at this game, a couple of things. Number one, Tampa Bay is going to look to blitz. That's the main thing Bulls likes to do on the defensive side. Goff, for the year, was good against pressure, but in the second half against the Rams, really did struggle. If he can't have the success throwing the ball, Lions, it's not going to be there. Lions back four is awful. They cannot stop anyone in the passing game. And my worry is kind of like what happened in the Washington Texas game. If the Bucs get out to a quick 14-0 lead, I don't think the Lions are going to be able to get a stop or two to tie it back up. Mayfield, props to him. Great year. We need to remember a couple years ago, he was playing practice squad defensive lineman for the Carolina Panthers. Now he just won the playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a little bit banged up. If the Lions pressure can get to him, I think that's their best recipe. Also, on the flip side for the Bucs are one of the worst rushing teams in the league. If they can't get a couple yards, get like 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6 or whatever on first down, and are constantly thrown to pass, is that going to be the recipe for Detroit? I don't know. I'm worried as hell about this game because this is a perfect scenario for the Lions, and this is when they classically just mess it up. I think the Bucs could actually pull it off here, and it pains me to say that. Maybe it's just my bias of always being let down by the Lions, though.
I know that feeling.
Well, maybe I can provide some reassurance, Eric, because I am on the Lions. They're in one of my picks. I'll give out a little bit later, but I think this is another case of the team. I was worried at first when I before the Eagles Bucks game because I was like the Lions first playoff win in 30 years. That's a very emotional high. Like I don't know if y'all can go into Dallas and win next week. But then of course Dallas doesn't win. Now you got a home game versus Tampa, who's coming off of their emotional high because they just beat the snot out of Philly. And Baker Mayfield had a great game, and he's probably solidified a contract in Tampa Bay. But at the same time, besides Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, believe it or not, Jared Goff has the most playoff experience of quarterback. And I would argue he's got better experience than Josh Allen because he made a Super Bowl with the Rams back in 2018. And
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't the best game because they lost to the Patriots 13-3, but he has that experience. I think this is a dream matchup for y'all. Y'all get a second home game, which I won't get into it, but some will say that y'all were robbed of that opportunity with the whole Taylor Decker situation. But here y'all are. Y'all have the second home game versus Tampa Bay team who y'all played earlier in the year and y'all were missing a few key pieces that game and still were able to whoop up on them in Tampa Bay. I think Dan Campbell and Jared Goff will be able to handle the blitz better than what Philly did. Like Cam was saying, Philly was doing things that were working against the blitz, and then they would go immediately away from that. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to have a great game. You have Laporta, who, like you said, is he didn't get as much time this week, but I think that was probably because it was his first week back from injury. Expect a bigger role for him. You have Montgomery, Gibbs. You can run the ball, and I think Detroit wins this one probably along the lines of like a 27-17, and then it like 30 years no playoff win, and then boom in the NFC Championship game. Shout out to Dan Campbell. Shout out to y'all GM. They had a vision together, brought in the guys necessary. Jared Goff redemption story. LA traded him away. They go win the Super Bowl. Now he's in the position to get to the Super Bowl.
Nope.
So I think they capitalize this week and they take care of the Bucks. Cam Sanders, Detroit, Tampa Bay.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I got the Lions in this one. I think Jared Goff gets going. I think Amon-Ra is going to be unstoppable in this game. I don't think there's nobody in that DB room that can stop Amon-Ra. I think he's going to get going. I think it's going to be Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs game. This game, like you said, I think it's going to be a 2-score or maybe even close to 3-score win for the Lions. So I got the Lions in this one, man.
Good. And I think it's also good too. Y'all did just have this close game this week for a first playoff game. Y'all are battle tested. If the Bucks, I know they have some of those Super Bowl players, but you put them in a tough situation. We don't know how this team will respond with Baker Mayfield back against the wall. And I know that crowd in Detroit is going to be crazy for that second playoff game. So, Chris, Detroit or Tampa Bay?
So just I'm gonna go with Detroit, but I understand Eric's sentiment with kind of being worried about this game. Tampa Bay is not a pushover defense, and I think at least when I went to that Detroit game, I watched Detroit run all over my Cowboys. Like they're the way that they alternate their running backs, it's proven effective. I think like Cam said and like you said, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has to have a great game. What's that other kid's name? The other receiver.
Listen, Williams.
I think Raymond. Reynolds, is it Reynolds?
Josh Reynolds.
Raymond.
Reynolds and Raymond.
Okay, both of them. But I think it's Reynolds I'm thinking of. I think he has to have a great game. I think Jared's gonna have to put it in the air. Jared Goff's gonna have to put it in the air. But I do know that whenever I've seen the Bucks win a game, they hold their opponents very low scoring. So you guys are gonna have to score it. But on top of that, to give you some reassurance, Baker Mayfield plays one of two ways. He'll either have the best game of his career, or he will give your team the ball 5 times. Unfortunately for Cam, he had the best game of his career.
But he gave the ball away too.
But the Bucks are 9-8. This is literally a team that's one loss, one loss. I had him on my fantasy team, so I have to deal with it, right? This is not a guy that's consistent. I do not expect him to come out next week or this weekend and do that again. I think you guys have a very good chance. Even if he does have a decent game, I hope that it won't be anything like it was last week.
That's fair. Cam Swan, on you. Lions or
Um,
Bucks?
I'm gonna go. You already know I'm gonna go with the Lions. Um, I wouldn't even just say it comes down to defending the pass rush. Excuse me. It's gonna come down to coaching too. Obviously throughout the season, Todd Bowles has like some questionable plays being called offensively and defensively. So this is gonna come down to coaching. Dan Campbell obviously is top 5 coaching in the league right now. So it's gonna come down to coaching, and it's also like Chris said, he hit the nail on the coffin with Baker having a great game and like a horrible game. Like last week when we played Philly, he had a great game, but at the same time he had opportunities given to Philly. Philly just didn't take advantage of it.
Mhm.
Obviously, with throwing the ball at night, and like the area where Mike Evans at, getting sacked. They had opportunities to take over, but they just couldn't execute it. So if they can do what Philly did as far as getting to Baker, that's probably the biggest concern because it been some cause some holes sometimes in the Lions defense. But if Aiden Hutchinson can find a way, because that old line's not there. Outside of
Mhm.
Tristan, that old line's really not top tier, obviously, being honest. So if Aiden Hutchinson can get to Baker, which we know he can, it's gonna open the window for like CJ Gardner Johnson and everyone else to like pick off the ball. Branch can get in the mix to where they can defend the pass. This is the game to where show what Detroit defense can do. We already know what their offense can do. Let's see where their defense can do because we don't want the same issue where you seem like Puka and everyone else going off. Let's see what their defense can do as far as containing Mike Evans and containing Chris Godwin and stopping Rashad White from getting open. Because Rashad White is literally one of the running backs who can catch out the backfield, but we know Detroit can contain that. So in my sense of this, it's gonna come down to coaching. It's gonna come down to what can Detroit defense do to step up when it matters the most, especially in crunch time.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, that takes us to our last game, the game of the week. Most would say probably. I'm thinking about watching this game on mute just because of Tony Romo glaze fest of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes might be insufferable. But I'm gonna go last.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim. Oh, Josh Allen, he's just amazing. The way he flicks his Patrick Mahomes on somebody. But I'm gonna go last on this one. I'm gonna let y'all, give your take on the game, and then I'll follow it up telling you why you're right or why you're about to be terribly wrong, depending on what you pick. Cam, we're gonna start off with you, Sanders. You better pick the Bills. Don't switch on me now, because you had us losing last week. So keep it going. Keep it going for me. Bills or Chiefs?
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Oh,
um, I don't understand what Vegas is doing here. I don't get why y'all underdogs. Honestly, I mean, if you look at this Bills roster, I mean, it's just filled with injuries over injuries over injuries. Their last good DB or corner, Teron Johnson, he's in concussion protocol. You got linebackers on IR, linebackers still banged up. Even Gabe Davis, I don't know if he's going to play or not, but even Gabe Davis wasn't participating in practice here. So I'm a little confused on what Vegas is trying to. I don't know if they're trying to trap people or what, but we'll get into the best, but that's gonna be one of my bets. I got the Chiefs in this one. Josh Allen I think Pat gonna win this game, and I think officially Pat gonna be Josh Allen's daddy, pretty much. That's what it's gonna be after this game. Like I said last week, every time I bet against Pat, I lose. I ain't bet against Pat on this one. I'm winning money in this one. Pat gonna get it done, man. And Pat, I trust.
okay, Chris. Bills or Chiefs?
So I'm not gonna switch on you. I chose the Bills to beat y'all in the divisional, but I chose them because, and you have your own opinion about it, and a lot of people do. But the Bills, I could fit my cheek. The Bills have been hot, leading up to the playoffs, and last week Josh he had a pretty darn good game, bro. I mean, it was against Pittsburgh. Maybe not many people won't respect that, but I mean, you still have to go out there and you got to execute. So I respect that. Um, I'm I don't want to switch up on you because I want to say Chiefs, but I'm just gonna say Bills because Cam chose the Chiefs, and I know whatever Cam bet is not going to hit.
Yeah, knock on wood for that one. Go ahead, Swan.
But
Who wins this one? Or you got something else, Chris?
well, I was gonna say, even talking about the odds and having the Chiefs as an underdog, I think that is a very favorable bet to take, and I think Vegas does have some cooking up where a lot of that's because that's like betting against LeBron, and then LeBron wins, right? But maybe this time they want you to bet, for LeBron, and LeBron gonna lose. I mean, I would take it's like plus what is it, plus 130 something?
It's plus 130. Well, it opened up as plus 130. I think it's plus 125 now, straight up.
Oh, they
And
dropped it.
we
Ooh,
went from
shit.
3 to 2.5 dogs. So we'll see.
Mm.
I just don't understand why y'all underdogs. I mean, I know
I
they at
mean,
home.
home team gets a field
They
goal
yeah, home
advantage.
team,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
home field advantage. That's all. Higher seed. Wait,
How you
yeah.
feel, Swan?
I'm going with the Chiefs. I ain't gonna switch up. You already know me. Yeah, you already know I'm going to Chiefs. I'm just not confident in Josh Allen. Like like I said earlier, he's the main reason for the whole overtime rule and the change of the rules in the NFL. Like going by him, godly and stuff, and can't even execute it. I don't have faith in it. Gabe Davis is banged up. The defense having their issues as far as health wise and age wise. Um, I just don't have faith in that. I mean, since their defense is like really like, let's say, banged up and like contracts or anything like that, they can't hold Pacheco. As long as they're giving Pacheco the ball, I don't see no issues. And this is like the one thing that's really gonna be a key factor. Travis Kelce. He's gonna be the biggest key factor in the game. I'll tell you why. Throughout the whole season, obviously he's been banged up. He's been having like up and down games. He probably had like 3 or 4 like solid games, and he had like the rest was like, it's not Travis Kelce numbers. This game right here, he has some type of ill will towards the Bills. He can't stand the Bills at all. He knows it. The Bills and the Bengals are two teams he don't like. We've seen that plenty of times. So right here, this is going to show that KFC going to go back to his original form. He's going to be the player of the game. I'm calling it right now.
I love it.
Because if you look at that, I'm just saying because we haven't heard much about his name. That's not even normal. Like about 7-8 straight seasons of 1K, and he was about 16 yards short, which is understandable because he won the rest because we've seen what happened to Laporta and Kincaid. So it made sense. But with that being said, I feel like he's gonna be the X factor. He always had the Bills number. The Bills doesn't have a legitimate corner who can hold him. I mean, they got the great linebackers and Bernard and everybody else, but their cornerback depth is very, very thin. Douglas he's questionable. Tre'Davious White is already out for the season.
I was gonna say
They don't
Bernard
have
is questionable too, even though I'm sure most of these guys will play because it's us. So
they'll
that's
play,
how
but
it
it's
goes.
still not 100%. They don't
Yeah.
have nobody who can hold Kelce, and that makes sense. And so this is gonna be Kelce's game. I'm calling it right now. We already know what Rasheed Rice gonna do. We already know what Pacheco gonna do. But we don't talk about Kelce enough. He gonna remind everybody why he's still that first ballot Hall of Fame tight end. So I'm calling
I
this gonna be
respect
Kelce's
that.
game.
Eric, how you
Sure.
feeling, man?
Just to piggyback what Cam was saying, Kelsey against McDermott defenses for his career, he averages 6 receptions, 78.25 yards per game. Huge success against the McDermott defense. And that's the question. To me, I look at it like this. Can the Bills stop Kelsey, and can the Chiefs stop the run game of the Buffalo Bills? Chiefs are 27th DVOA versus the run, and we've seen since Brady has taken over, Cooks has gone up. His production has gone up. Instead of getting 12 carries a game, he's now getting 17. His average went up from 62 yards per game to 74, and the Chiefs can be run on. So which team is going to be able to stop their Achilles heel? To me, that's what it comes down to. I think this game, in terms of betting wise, Chiefs right now are plus 135. Chiefs get the ball first and score. You're probably going to be able to get a better number on the Bills, and you're going to be making profit either way. So I think this is a great live betting game where you just kind of sit back and enjoy it. We don't know what's going on with Douglas. If Douglas doesn't play and he's not able to shadow Rice, that's going to be a huge advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, can the Chiefs hold the Bills to under 20 points? That's the magic number. This year, the Chiefs 12-2 when they hold opponents under 20, 0-4 when they don't. Can their defense step up, keep the Bills in check? Also, how banged up are these guys? Both teams played in such cold. That is basically like being tackled on concrete. So that's why we saw how many Bills players exited the game. And when those guys exited the game, that's when the Steelers started to make the run and got a little close for a little bit in the fourth quarter. It's going to be interesting to see who plays. Gabe Davis, you guys mentioned. I don't know. I think this is a coin flip game. I think for betting wise, you can get plus money in both teams during the game. So that's my plan. I have a nice Bills future. I'll be rooting for the Bills, but I'm probably going to sit this one out. When the Bills were 6-6, I got them at, they were 50-1 to win it all. So I threw a little bit money on that just because of number base. So hopefully you can get home.
Take a deep breath, Bryce.
I like the stat. Oh no, I'm ready to go. I've been waiting. I've been looking forward to this the whole episode, man. So let me get my deep breath in. But no, I like your stat, Eric. I got one even better for you. You know, we're 12-2 when we hold them to 20. We played them early in the year, week 14. We held them to exactly 20. But we're also 8-0 when we score 21 or more points. Offense, take care of the ball. Limit the drops. I'm sure there's going to be one or two there because it's just who we are at this point. But if we can limit the drops, we can finish in the red zone, get 21, have every faith in the world. Our defense is going to come to play. I'm not even on the bandwagon where Josh Allen is going to fumble the game because like I tell you all the time, this is his Super Bowl. He plays amazing versus us every time. So I think Josh Allen's going to have a good game, but it's just basically like, man, this is – let's see how I can put this. This is – Mike versus the Jazz or Charles Barkley. Yeah, you probably a Hall of Fame player on the other side of the field, but I'm just that dude. So yeah, Josh Allen, he's good. But he knows at the end of the day, in his heart of hearts, as good as I am, I'm not that guy across the field. Patrick LeVon Mahomes, yeah, I had to say the middle name on that one. That's a different breed. It's the best playoff quarterback, statistically speaking, we've seen ever. And I know, obviously, he's still got a lot more career to play out. But so far, through 6 years, he's the best quarterback ever. Best passer rating, most touchdowns, best touchdown to interception ratio. Everything, you name it, he's the best at. And it even got proven more last week. Like I said, that was the fourth coldest game ever. What was the media's take when coming into that game? Oh, man, can Tua throw in this weather? Can Tua do this and that in this weather? Fourth coldest game ever. Every other game that's been like that in history, no one has thrown for over 150 yards. Patrick Mahomes was slinging it like it wasn't no problem. It's negative 30 wind chill, and it didn't look like it affected him at all. When it's playoff mode, I told y'all, it's a different Patrick we're getting. He's locked in. As long as our receivers don't sell us, I don't think Patrick is going to sell us. I think he's going to come ready to go. He's heard everything, they said Josh Allen the best. Josh Allen can take the throne with this game somehow, some way, even though Patrick Mahomes is chilling he's 2 up on everybody. Besides Lamar with the MVPs, he's 2 up on everybody. So there's no pressure. He's an underdog. Oh, he hasn't played on a road playoff game. I get it. He hasn't played on a road playoff game. But in his career, Patrick Mahomes is better on the road than he is at home, funny enough. So when people throw that stat out, I'm like, you must not watch football because I honestly prefer for us to play on the road because Arrowhead, there's a little mystique there where we've had some historic playoff chokes in that building. Patrick Mahomes on the road, I'm not worried. As far as defense, like Eric said, hold them to under 20. I didn't even realize when we played them in week 14, we were missing Drew Tranquil, who had got a concussion the week before in Green Bay. We weren't missing, but Nick Bolton was on a snap count because that was his first game back from a dislocated wrist. And we were missing Isaiah Pacheco. So we were running Clyde. Game starts out, We're doing just fine. Moving the ball. Mahomes throws a tip pass interception. Can we minimize turnovers? Bills start out 14-0. They score 6 points for the 3.5 quarters left after that. Defense is there. L'Jarius Sneed, you already know. Stephon Diggs, consider it locked up. That's one of my bets. Under 64.5 reception yards. Take it to the bank. Sneed is locking all that up. Allen isn't going to be able to look for Sneed. We can shut down the run, like Erik said. It's going to be tough because that's our Achilles heel. But I think you saw last week, Miami, that was supposed to be their key to victory, run the ball. Defense showed up ready to play. Saying, man, we're not supposed to win. We weren't supposed to win last year. When we win this year, oh my God. It's solidified. You can't say nothing else. We are the league's villain. Everybody hates us. It's literally Who Dey Mafia. You see Cincinnati fans putting the Bengal print inside the Buffalo logo. They're rooting against us. Deshaun Elliott, Miami safety, said he hopes the Bills beat the piss out of us, and he's a division rival. Everybody hates, but at the end of the day, as bad as we were this season, if you had your money on the line, you don't want to play Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and you done mess around, and now we have a top 2 defense. Oh my God, it's scary. It's scary. As long as we take care of the ball, we run the ball. Rashee Rice, wide receiver 1. It's gonna suck, but we're about to make an inevitable run. I told you it's gonna be Josh Allen in Buffalo, which was after, like I called it, Tua. We're going to shut all that up. Now, if your Texans do win, Cam, I won't be mad. Like I said, that's Arrowhead Invitational. But for my storybook agenda, Ravens win. We headed to the bank. And while Lamar finally gets that monkey off his back that he made the AFC Championship game, he ain't ready for that type of action. We're going to go there. And then we're going to get the super team 49ers. We're going to have no business winning that one. But the one kryptonite the 49ers always have is Patrick Mahomes. Never lost versus them in his career. Always has his best games, no matter how good their defense is. So, just another chapter in the storybook of the career. First ballot Hall of Fame. It's levels to this, Josh Allen. It's levels to this. Josh Allen is a good quarterback. I get it. But Patrick Mahomes is literally legendary. He's legendary. Like, there's no sugarcoating about it. And I like, I was watching Speak yesterday. LaShawn McCoy, he had his own personal anecdote to kind of just put some context to that. Sean McCoy's like, man, I thought I was, cold. First team All-Pro some years, top running back. We played Minnesota the year when Adrian Peterson won MVP, and I went to shake his hand. Like, yeah, man, you cold, you cold. And when I shook his hand, I knew, yeah, he colder than me. Like, it's just another level to it. And that's how it is with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. It sucks that the media has propped up Josh Allen, so some of this downfall that he'll get afterwards isn't his fault, but they did it. Patrick Mahomes will once again remind everybody, like, I'm that guy. It's my league. It's levels to this. And there will still be people afterwards that will still be like, well, Josh Allen outplayed him. We're worried about Super Bowls. We're not worried about all that emotional stuff. Oh, he outplayed this. He outplayed that. Super Bowl is on the resume. That's how you build the legacy. That's what Mahomes is focused on. Times get grim. You beat a Grim Reaper. Y'all about to get the full Grim Reaper Sunday night in Buffalo. Gonna rip the soul out of all Bills Mafia in Orchard Park. They better hide all the tables up there. I know that because the Bills Mafia gonna be on suicide watch, jumping into those tables.
Oh my God.
We finna take it, man. We're about to win this game 24-20. That's how we gonna win it. Patrick Mahomes walk-off touchdown. It's gonna be like, dang. The year you were supposed to get us, the window is open. The last open it's gonna get, and you didn't do it, Josh. You fumbled it. Sucks to suck. I mean, hey, Peyton Manning was a great quarterback in his own right, but he had to go up against Tom Brady in the AFC all those times. Tom Brady robbed him of multiple opportunities to get a Super Bowl. So it just is what it is, man. It is what it is.
So,
But
how do you want us to approach you if it don't go this way? You just want
if
us
it
to
don't
leave
go
you
this
alone?
way, that's why you asked me that earlier in the week. Will I apologize for all I'm saying? I'll apologize. I'll give the Bills their credit. They win the game, but they won't win the Super Bowl. And that's where it's like, what is this game you? Because I feel like if they beat us, they probably will make the Super Bowl. But then at that point, that moment, I feel like it's gonna be Josh Allen's first Super Bowl. If he has the force and be superhero in a Super Bowl game, I can only imagine how that roller coaster goes. He loses,
Mhm.
then he's just in the same boat as Joe Burrow. It's like, okay, yeah, you beat Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes, you didn't capitalize on the opportunity. This is our off year. I'm pretty sure we will revamp the wide receiver room next year. We should
Mhm.
retain some of these defensive pieces. This is the year you need to get us. Last year we were the one of the youngest team, the third youngest team in the league, and you let us win the Super Bowl. Now you gave us a top 5 defense, but the offense fell off. Don't let us win this year because dynasty complete, and then we playing with house money from here on out. Like it's no pressure whatsoever. So, hey man, I wish the best for Bills Mafia, but it's just levels, man. It's levels. But that's how I'm feeling. Let's hop into these bets. So kind of gave out some already, but I'm gonna let Cam, both Cams and Chris, y'all give y'all a single bet, and then me and Eric will touch on some more of ours, and then we'll wrap this episode off because we already 3 hours in. So I'm gonna just make this 2 episodes between wild
Yeah.
card and divisional talk. But yeah,
You need
man,
to pay my salary.
I'm dead.
Shit, I guess I go.
Oh,
I mean, I got 2 bets, but I mean, they're pretty much the same. I mean, I feel like it's easy money. +9. I got it at plus 9.5 Texans. Put 2 units on it. And then the money line, I got it at plus 340. Put 5 units on that thing. I'm confident, man. You know, we finna go inside the bank. We finna what they do. Oh,
Oh my god, Eric, you don't know either. Cam hit a 5 unit bomb on the Texans' future to win the division that he
Oh wow.
called in the first episode. Plus 750, he did it. I laughed at him when he made it. I was like, no way. And Jacksonville choked it away. Texans came right up and took it. So props to him. And then he bet that on the Browns game, I'm sure. So he's just flipping it.
flipping it.
I respect it. I like it. Chris, what about you? What's your bet for the weekend?
Oh, I only got one. I was looking at him before we started the episode. I'm pretty comfortable with Kansas plus 2.5. It's even money right now, so you get what you give.
That's fair. That's fair. What about you, Swan?
I got Detroit. I got 2 of them. I got Detroit -6.5, and I got Kansas City plus 2.5 as well.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, Eric, we can kind of just go back and forth. I think you got 2 more picks.
I got 3. I got 3
3?
total.
Okay, that works. I got 3 more as well. So
My first one, I'm taking the Texans plus the 9.5. Just some trends. Home favorites in the divisional round are only 42.1% against the number. Home teams in the divisional round, which lost the final week of the season, are 16.7% against the number. Home teams that are home favorites and they lost the last game of the season, 11.8% ATS. Home teams in the divisional round laying 7 points or more, 35.3% against the number. Jackson laying 3.5 or more is only 41.5% against the number. 7.5 or more, 44% against the number. Stroud 6-2 this year. ATS against the spread as a dog. A lot of trends tell me to bet the Texans, so I'm gonna bet the Texans.
I like it. My pick is actually a prop that kind of goes with all those trends. I believe you said it earlier in the pod. Stroud, through the 5-6 games he's played a top 10 DVOA defense, he's averaging 280 yards. The game script we've all talked about, Cam's made me a believer. Even if the Texans are losing this game, that means they're gonna have to air it out even more. But I got CJ Stroud over 243 pass yards. Win or lose, I think CJ Stroud is gonna ball out, and it's even more a better bet for me because Marlon Humphrey's out. I think Nico Collins is going to go crazy as he has been. That's CJ Stroud's wide receiver 1. Dalton Schultz. I mean, like I said it a couple episodes ago, I think. Like, yes, there's the Ohio State quarterback stigma, like where they're usually not good, but you can look, your eyes can literally watch a CJ Stroud game since he's been in college. And you can just tell that guy is good at football. Like he can do this, and he's a clutch player as well. Forget whatever bogus test he took pre-draft that he failed and had people think like, oh, maybe we shouldn't even make him a lottery pick. He does this. He's here to stay. He's a young gun. Another quarterback that changes kind of the hierarchy of the AFC. I think he's gonna put the league on notice this week, and if they ends up in an upset, even better. But I think he's gonna be throwing all over the yard on Baltimore, and he's gonna make it a game if nothing else. So over 243 for me.
I like it. I like it. My next one, player prop going to the Detroit game. Taking Sam Laporte to over 40.5 yards. Bucks allow the third most yards per game to opposing tight ends, 63.4 yards per game, allowing 10.6 yards per reception. Last game, Laporte only had 36 yards against the Bucks on 4 receptions, but he did have 11 targets, so he was the focal point. The way the Lions run everything's to the middle of the field, hence why Laporte and Brown are such a big part of the offense. Laporte, 20% target share, has gone over this total 10 times this season. I think he's going to be a little bit more healthier. I think he's going to be a focal point of the Lions attack. Sam Laporte over 40.5 yards.
I like it. Like I said earlier, I wanted to give you some more reassurance. I'm in on the Lions. I'm in on my Chiefs. Put them together. MLP plus 213 odds. Detroit got them at negative 280. I got Chiefs at plus 130. Think both these teams win. I think at that point is Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, the two most experienced quarterbacks left in the NFL playoffs. I don't know if anybody would have thought that would have been the case to start the year, but here we are. I think we both got, for y'all, a very favorable matchup. And for us, I think it's just the kind of narrative, the story, everything. Like, you don't make Patrick Mahomes an underdog in his career as an underdog. He's 8-1 against the spread, 7-3 straight up. So I think, I got to sprinkle on that because I think we're going to win. And then threw in Detroit because I really like y'all's matchup against Tampa Bay coming off that high home playoff game, 32-9 beatdown of the Eagles. Nobody really giving them a chance despite, the Eagles having the bad last month of the season. Baker Mayfield, for all the reasons we talked about, had a really good game. Probably going to come back down to the median of what he is. I think y'all be able to handle that blitz much better than the Philadelphia did, and y'all have the weapons to combat Tampa Bay's defense across the board. So I think that's how that one goes, and that's why I put them in the MLP.
I like it. My last one, going big Mike Evans over 64.5 receiving yards. Lions give up the third most receiving yards per game to opposing wide receivers. They're 16th DVOA defending wide receivers, 23rd DVOA defending wide receiver ones, and 29th DVOA defending the deep class. The last 5 wide receivers that played against Detroit that were number ones. Puka 9 for 181, Jefferson 12 for 192, CD 12 for 227, Jefferson again 6 for 141, Judy 3 for 79. That's 8.4 receptions per game for 163 yards per game. The Lions been giving up to opposing wide receiver ones the last 5. Evans has gone over this total in 10 games, leads the Bucks with a 24% target share, averaging 70 yards per game this season. With how bad the Lions secondary is, I'll take Mike Evans here over 64.5 yards receiving.
I like that one because he had, I think, two for sure off the top of my head, maybe 3 crucial drops in that Monday night game. One of them was for a surefire touchdown. Like you said, Lions secondary is kind of their weak spot. I think they'll look to feed Mike Evans early, kind of get him in a groove, get him going to bounce back from last week. So definitely like that one. For me, my last pick, this is kind of my protection, Chris. If the Chiefs don't win, I bought some points. I got them plus 3.5 because if we lose, I think it's by a field goal. So that took it to negative 140. I threw 2 units on it. But like I said, obviously with the MLP, I think we win the game. Spare chance we don't. I think it's like we lose another game like we lost in week 14, 2017. This one's going to come down to the end. Who can get a stop? Who can get a touchdown at the end, that type of game? Who can take care of the ball? But yeah, Chiefs plus 3.5, negative 140. 2 units. That's how I'm wrapping up the weekend. So to run back down my picks, CJ Stroud over 243 yards, 1 unit, 2-way parlay Lions Chiefs ML for plus 213, 1 unit, Chiefs plus 3.5, -140, 2 units. And like I said, talking about the game, Stephon Diggs will be on Snead Island this weekend, under 64.5, 2 units as well.
I got Evans over 64.5, Laporta over 40.5, and the Texans plus the 9.5.
Gotcha. Well,
I'm praying for y'all boys, man. I don't want y'all to experience no heartbreak, man. I'm still recovering personally.
like I said, I've experienced the highest of highs and lowest of lows. Everything here on out is just icing on the cake. See my team win 2 Super Bowls when I didn't even think I would see them win 1 Super Bowl, let alone make it. And Chris, you could speak to that because you were in the room in college as I witnessed that first one, and I had to literally do a lap around the apartment complex because I couldn't believe it.
Well, I was in there. I was in there when y'all lost to, I think, Tom Brady.
You were in there when we lost to Tampa Bay. And how depressing that was as well. So yeah, I've been through it all. But hey, I'm gonna ride with my Chiefs to the death. Real diehard fan over here, no bandwagon. But like I said, I'm gonna split this into 2 episodes. Eric, we appreciate you coming on. I'm actually, funny enough, I still have this from the live episode, so I'm gonna throw this on the screen for the audience. Etoff 21 Sports Show. Definitely give him a follow if you haven't. Go subscribe to his channel. Follow him on his socials. Eric, if you want to give us your socials, you have the official names. Shout out your podcast. Tell us what you're about one more time before we sign off. Love do that.
I have a live show that comes out every single Tuesday night on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, 10 p.m. Eastern. Usually goes about 45 to an hour, talk about what happened the weekend before, give out some bets. Then I have a podcast that comes out every Friday where there's some fantasy football talk and some betting talk as well.
Yes, sir. And I think I've been on the show 3 times now. Definitely going to be on there more. He will be on our show more. We're going to be doing more live episodes. So definitely go follow him. It's all of the same content. And we're going to be intertwined a lot throughout this upcoming year. We told y'all 2024, bigger and better, more live episodes, everything coming y'all's way. We appreciate y'all if y'all listen all the way through. Y'all already know the sign off. It's your favorite kids from the neighborhood. Signing off. Bryce, Cam, Chris, Swan, our special guest, Eric. If y'all listen all the way through, we appreciate you. We love y'all. Hope the best divisional weekend for all our respective teams. Y'all heard the picks here first. We'll be tweeting them out with the episode tomorrow. So if you haven't followed us by now, go follow us on Twitter so you can stay up to date with that. But we out, man. Peace.
I need it.